Hey everybody, welcome to day 17 of the 60-day novel writing challenge, where we are talking about how to turn our ideas that aren't already scenes into scenes so that we can put them into our outline. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below if you haven't already, and then whatever it is you're drinking today, mine's down here. Go ahead and grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. Yesterday we went through the list of ideas that we spent the first 15 days of this challenge coming up with, and we organized all of the ones that were scenes or conversations or something that we could visualize. We took all of those and put them into chronological order in a new document that we called Outline. So today we're going back through that same list, but we're going through all of the ideas that weren't necessarily scenes. They were more abstract ideas of, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this happened? Or maybe I should name this character this, or whatever our random ideas were. We're gonna take those today and turn them into scenes so that we can take them out of that notes and ideas document and put them into the outline in chronological order so that they make it into the full book eventually. Now, I've kind of been looking at the best ways that I could illustrate this for you, and if I go through my notes and ideas document, you're gonna be like, Haley's crazy, because it's just this jumble of like thoughts to myself, and it's just kind of weird. So what I decided to do was go through the blurb that I have for my book and break down how I would turn each of these ideas into scenes and how I would then transfer them over to my outline. So I've got my little one sentence blurb up here, but this is, underneath that is the full blurb, and it says, Stelly and her 7 siblings are world travelers and performers who spend their weekends putting on an incredible cooking show that combines acrobatics and cooking. While the world thinks they make their living by juggling baking equipment and selling fried doughs, Stelly's siblings carry 2 great secrets. They have an unheard of ability to communicate with each other by thought, and their real job is as spies. As they travel, they gather information by way of friendships, seduction, or good old-fashioned eavesdropping, and then report back to their eldest sister, the Queen's mysterious informant called the Whisperess. When the Whisperess is assassinated, Stelly's family is left with 2 dangerous tasks ahead. They need to somehow get a new Whisperess to the Queen without being detected, and they need to find their sister's killer before he has a chance to kill the next Whisperess too. Kovul and his band of 4 dark, dangerous rares have never held any love for the Whisperess, who imprisoned each of them for their unsavory powers. They know the next Whisperess will be attempting to reach the Queen at the most magical event of the year, the Starlight After Circus, and by any means possible, they intend to stop the new Whisperess and prevent her from revealing any of their malicious secrets. Stelly suspects Kovul may have killed her sister, while Kovul suspects Stelly may have information that could destroy him. As the magic-filled festival begins, the race is on to figure out who can be trusted, who killed the Whisperess, and how 2 enemies might possibly enjoy each other's company so greatly. Now, obviously, none of this is set in stone. This is definitely a work in progress, just like your guys' is. But I thought it might be helpful to go through and break down how I would take some of these abstract ideas and turn them into scenes that will go into the outline. So, of course, the goal when coming up with scenes is that every scene needs to be interesting. It needs to be a mini plot within itself that makes your reader enjoy it. So everything in this first paragraph that I have here is kind of backstory, explaining who they are. So for me to turn that into a scene, I need to brainstorm how I'm going to make it as interesting as I can. And I already have a really cool idea for the opening first chapter of the book. Would be just like a day in the life of these siblings. You know, they are having this great time doing their whole baking show gig, but at the same time, they're actually spies. They're gathering information from everybody around them. So to get all this information in, I want to make it a lot of fun. I want it to be the youngest sister is having a competition with the other ones where every time she gets a piece of information, she's like rubbing it in the other one's faces. I want some good sibling rivalry. I want it to be just a lot of fun and something that the readers enjoy reading, so that then at the end of that chapter, when they hear that the eldest sister, who is going to be called the Whisperess, when they hear that she's been assassinated, it's gonna be like this gut-wrenching blow. And I have that planned out too. You know, that's gonna be, so my next paragraph, when the Whisperess is assassinated, that I have just this cool idea of there's gonna be like fireworks in the sky and they're waiting for them, like the suspense is building before the firework goes off, and then when it explodes, Stelly, my main girl, is going to feel like this burst of pain in her chest, which is her sister getting killed off in the distance, because they can all communicate, you know, by thought. So they need to get a new Whisperess to the Queen, and they need to find their sister's killer. That is going to become Stelly's main driving force throughout the whole book. And so I'm going to make it something that is just weighing heavy on her heart, that she has got to figure out who killed the Whisperess. And then in the very next chapter, we're going to move to the baddies. And so I call them dark and dangerous in here, but I need to find a way to make them seem dark and dangerous to the reader so that they seem like they are the baddies. And I actually have not quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet. So that's going to require some brainstorming on my part, but I have to find out a way that introduces them that makes people a little bit wary of these guys. And then they've got some secrets that they're trying to hide. So we need to introduce those. I'm going to turn those into a scene, probably like a conversation between all of them, where they're all kind of revealing who they are as people, because they're all kind of not very nice, but also discussing how it is that they're going to proceed now that the old Whisperer is dead, and there's going to be a new Whisperess coming in who may be able to unveil some of their very deep and dark secrets. So I clearly need to come up with a scene where Stelly and Kavul meet, and I have kind of some cool ideas for how I want that to be, but I actually have some conflicting ideas too. Like, I think that it would be fun, they kind of have a backstory together, and so I have a couple of ways that I think I might want to do this, where like he's super standoffish and angry at her, or maybe they could make up right off the bat and have some romantic tension. I'll be honest and say I haven't actually figured out which of those routes I'm gonna go. And so when you have conflicting ideas like that, a lot of times what helps is to like write out a list of all the pros and cons of if you do it one way or if you do it the other way. Obviously, like if I do it with romantic tension, that gives a lot of anticipation and suspense to the book as people want to see how that relationship is going to develop. But I think it's a little more realistic for him to be mad at her because he kind of thinks she's the reason he got like arrested and turned in to begin with. So that actually opens up a lot of potential as well if he's angry throughout the whole book for growth for him as a character as he comes to realize that either she didn't do it or she didn't mean to. There's a lot of opportunity either route that I go. And so I'm going to sit down and make out a list of, okay, which route do I want to go? When they meet, how is it that I want them to react to each other? So what we're doing for today's homework is to go through our idea list again and pull out all of those ideas that were just kind of random abstract thoughts and turn them into scenes. Brainstorm ways that we can take the information that we wrote down and turn them into a visual plot, something that is going to happen within the story itself. So turn those ideas into scenes and then transport all of those scenes into that outline document that we created yesterday. If you have as many ideas as I do in my document, it's probably not realistic to get through the entire list today, so shoot for half. Try to get through half of them, turning them into scenes, and then transporting them into that outline. I'm going to jump off and do this as well. By tomorrow, we should hopefully have about half of our list turned into scenes and then moved into that outline in chronological order for how it's going to go in the story. So if you have not hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that now, and I will see you tomorrow for day 18 of the 60-day novel writing challenge.